welcome back. Next day, I've got Matt here with me with electric all-wheel. He's going to go over, I know I said why I was going to be using this bottom bracket in this episode, so here's the reason why. We're going to be doing a mid-drive on the new custom. Matt, kind of explain what we have here.
So right now you're looking at a 1000-watt BBSHD 120 millimeter, and the 120 speaks to the width of the bottom bracket. And so when you buy these motors, they have varying insert lengths that match the bottom bracket lengths or widths for various bikes. And this one is a 120, and it works well with fat tire e-bikes when you do this build. This is an XT60 battery connector, and then after that, it's a Bafang parts buffet, if you will. You have your cable harness that brings you up to your handlebars. You have an extension as necessary. I brought this because you're known to build longer bikes.
Yes.
But I think we've got it figured out. This is a speed sensor connection, and it has a magnet that you actually screw or clip onto the spokes, and then it passes by a sensor and allows the motor to know that the wheel is running and then counts the number of rotations so you can calculate speed. This is a gear shift sensor. Don't think we're using this single sprocket rear.
No.
Correct. All right. And then this is more of a minimalist SW102 display, very small, but it'll give you a speed readout, let you know your settings, and what your battery reading is. Universal thumb throttle. We did test this out before we got the camera rolling and found that I brought the wrong brake handles, but they're definitely not needed. So we were able to get this going. It is going to be powered by a 48 volt, 10 amp hour battery. I use this battery on a lot of our dual battery videos on the electric all-wheel channel.
And that's way smaller of a battery than anything we've used.
It is the most nice compact. Generally what I do is it's in the bag, and then I just strap it to industry e-bike frame. And then suddenly I have more range. That's what that's about.
And like standard, when we're doing a bike and we want to run a front sprocket, you can run a smaller tooth sprocket to have a little less torque off the start, make it a little easier to pedal off the start, but it does run out, or you go with the bigger sprocket, which gives you all torque. What would the difference be between using those two?
So when at a lesser teeth count, you have a lower gear ratio, and so the essence of that would be a lot more torque. As you move into a higher teeth count, it's hard to get it running, but once you do, you get a lot more speed out of it. And that is, that's where you and I differ, right? I'm a speed junkie, and you're about the slow motion.
We're about going as slow and low as we can, because that's how we do it.
So I brought a couple. I had these on hand. This one has the offset. I know that we're looking for as much as we can get.
Yes.
To make sure
so the big deal, my main concern is why I had him come over with this stuff was just really making sure that we're covering plenty of room between the back wheel and having a good chain line. And when I was showing you guys here, this is a threaded bottom bracket. It doesn't necessarily need to be threaded, but as you can see, it's going to slide on. All of this is going to lock together, and what holds this on. So that's there.
So it's a spline connection here.
Right.
And then it will sit like this. There are two screws that attach to the motor itself.
And there's spacers that go,
And then this nut will compress onto the bottom bracket. And then what you're looking at for that, what's the point, is that these little ribs will get compressed into the bottom bracket and keep it from moving around.
And then we have to add an arm off of the machine here so that when the torque, because we're thinking of running, this here is going to be ran in this vicinity, and with the torque of that, you can kind of see where that's going to run. Now with the torque of that, it's going to actually pull itself down, so we're going to need some kind of an arm to stop it from ripping itself off.
Yes.
All right. And
so drive side, right side, we will have to roll it over.
Right.
And then what you're typically looking at is it's sitting on the outside. This is the general industry installation. So we'll be rolling in this way
which is
So
fine because it'll actually allow me to run my cables.
Right. Your motor is upside down though, so keep that in mind. So that is one of the downsides to this. The only other way would be here,
Okay.
at which you're resisting the pull off
Yes.
of the down tube.
So, but is there an issue with running it upside down?
No,
No. So,
except unless you just have to.
I'm not concerned with that.
Come on, look at the plastic still on there.
I know, you got to rip that up. So we are planning on running, he brought this battery. We're looking at either a battery like this, which is super small, compact, and we'll be able to stick it in the tank area, which is all going to be covered up. You won't even know it's there. Or running a shark style battery, which is basically kind of shaped like his bag here, except 2 times bigger than that. Yeah. So that's kind of where we're going with this. We're probably going to maybe either run a coaster brake only and see what happens, or run a coaster brake with a hydraulic front.
Please use a brake. Oh, yes, you're gonna give me anxiety on it.
It's chopper life, and we don't use brakes here. We don't need brakes. So this full kit, this is kind of pieced together, right? We don't have this is probably something that if someone needed, they could contact you for, and you could.
So, in my foray into this realm, an instinctual notion is to go to Electrify Bike Company.
Okay.
They have preset kits where they just walk you through a drop-down selection of what you might need and what you're after. This battery obviously is not from them. This is Amazon, but they also sell batteries that accompany their stuff. And they have some really nice cube batteries, really compact, really high density, not good power output for applications like yours, right? You're looking for the tightest space so you can fabricate around that to your custom desires.
Right.
And the bigger that case battery is, the more difficult it becomes.
Correct.
So Electrify Bike has a nice setup for that. They also sell the bling rings from Lecky, I think it's Lecky. Yeah.
Whatever.
They can take you through that, and that's my go-to, but also they sell these kits on Amazon. You can pick up BBSHD kit with accompaniment for I think $500.
Okay.
And then it's picking.
Usually the expensive part I found is the battery.
Right.
Like the battery, you can get the whole. Yeah, you can get the kit. It might be $500, but then you go to buy the battery, and it's all of a sudden you're over $1,000 and everything because
the industry right now says that. Everybody's worried about battery fires, right?
Yes.
I don't mistreat this battery, but it's got heavy use. I use this a lot. I carry it across. I carry it like it's just an accompaniment to whatever I want to use.
Okay.
And so I have faith in this company. There was a leap of faith, but I believe in them. And yes, moving forward for the top tier safety, UL certification, CE certification, you want anything that's going to say they're fabricating or creating and manufacturing these things to a standard that's worthwhile.
The biggest issue I think with fires is usually the charging of them.
Yeah, charging, and then unnecessary physical impact, like you puncture a cell.
Got it.
You have thermal.
Because I know I've seen charging issues where people have left them charged, and they overload.
Still in that capacity, failed BMS.
Okay.
Right, but what I find is that a lot of those, a good fraction of those, are custom built batteries.
Okay. They're not company. And don't you sell these on your Amazon link? Or?
They are sold on Amazon. We just recommend them. I've used them so much that I trust and believe in them. So that's what we've shared with all of our YouTube channel.
And I'm going to link his YouTube below. I'll put it here on the screen also. But I'll link his YouTube down there if you guys want to check out a lot of e-bike stuff that he does. It'll be a good resource for you. Other than that, dude, I appreciate you coming. Hopefully I'll have you back when it's time to install everything. Because right now everything's going to be a basic mock-up. But there's going to be some probably extensions of wires because these are standard. And we may need to make them longer. And
so I brought something. I wasn't sure if you'd ever seen it.
I do. I have a bucket of them.
You do these?
I do, yes.
These things are the lifesaver of all lifesavers.
Yes.
It's no soldering, heat gun, solder seal connectors.
Yeah, so they're just connectors that have the solder inside of them. And once you heat it up, you push the wires through so they're touching in the center. And then once you heat it up, it actually melts the solder, plus it heat shrinks the connection.
Yeah.
And then usually what I'll do is throw some heat shrink over all of it so that you have that black heat shrink over it so you're not looking at it. And yeah, buy it cheap. This is from Harbor Freight. I'm pretty sure mine's broken. It would just stay on. I thought that was getting really unsafe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to get another one of those. But we'll be doing some wiring in this build. I know you guys have been asking for electric, so I decided that this was the way to do it, opposed to just doing like I did my e-scooter where we did the big, huge electric back wheel. I wanted to be able to pedal because everybody was saying that it wasn't a bike because it didn't have pedals. So this will have pedals. We're trying to get it as close to that design as we can, but we're adding extra stuff to it, and it needs to be able to hold up. So there's going to be some things we got to do to the frame to make it stronger so that it can handle the torque of this off of that little teeny, I mean, this bottom bracket, there's not much to it.
The right words, yes.
Yeah, just trying to keep it as safe as possible.
You're dropping the big block into it.
Exactly, yeah, we're putting an LS on this frame. So yeah, so dude, I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, for sure.
And hopefully within the next few episodes, we'll be getting into mocking up, and there's going to be a lot going into this one. So the series is going to be a little fabrication heavy, but I do appreciate you coming out.
I am excited to be here. I like your shop and I like what you do.
Awesome.
So we met at a bike show.
We did. Yeah. The last bike show we met at the one where the St. Pete bike show.
Right. My thought on that was I remember the photo. It was so great. There was the Volkswagen van behind the bike. That was such a good picture.
I know. I need to post it.
I don't even know how you got that lucky. I was like,
that's my buddy's truck. He pulls up and I'm like, man, your wheels match my bike. Is that the same spray paint?
It was. You did well.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you next time.
Make sure you hit that like, comment, subscribe button, all that stuff that you're supposed to do at the end of the videos. And I will see you guys maybe next week. Maybe not. Don't count on it, but possibly. All right.